My girlfriend said, "If you don't like how I live, leave." I replied, "You're right." I left. Then I quietly packed the closet while she was at the club, left a note on the counter, drove off before 300 a.m., and I just watched as her just dancing story started falling apart fast. Welcome back to Family Tales. In today's story, a girlfriend gave one cold ultimatum before going clubbing with her best guy friend, and her boyfriend quietly took her advice and left for good. As you listen, think about what you would do if someone told you to accept their lifestyle or get out. I'm Alex, 28, a software developer. I've always been the steady guy. The one who shows up, pays the bills, and tries to build a future that makes sense. Sarah was my girlfriend for 3 years. We met in college at a mutual friend's party. She was an outgoing art major who could light up a room with her laugh. I was the quiet engineering student in the corner, holding a beer like it was fragile. Somehow we clicked. She used to tell me I grounded her, that I made her feel safe, and I fell hard for that. It felt good to be needed. It felt like love. After graduation, life moved fast. I got a solid job at a tech firm. Sarah struggled to find steady work in her field. She bounced between freelance gigs and waitressing. We moved in together in a cozy apartment in the city. I covered most of the rent so she could focus on her passion projects, painting, photography, whatever sparked her that week. At first, it was good. I'd come home from long coding days and we'd eat dinner on the couch. We'd binge shows. We'd talk about the future like it was a shared plan. Then things started shifting. Sarah started going out more. Girls' nights that turned into all-nighters. She'd come home smelling like smoke and cheap cocktails, crash into bed and be asleep before I could even ask how her night was. At first, I didn't mind. People need space. I didn't want to be the controlling boyfriend. I told myself it was normal, then the comparison started. "Why can't you loosen up like my friends?" she'd say during arguments. "You're always so predictable." That one stung every time. Predictable meant reliable. It meant safe. It meant I was doing life right. But the way she said, it made it sound like an insult. Micro-commentary, when someone turns your best trait into a weakness. It's not playful teasing. It's a warning label. About 6 months ago, there was a night that I can still replay in my head like it's stuck on a loop. I'd pulled an all-nighter fixing a bug for a major client deadline. My eyes felt like sandpaper. My brain was running on fumes. I got home expecting quiet. Sarah was already dressed up, full makeup, hair done, scrolling her phone like she had all the energy in the world. She told me she was heading out with friends. And she mentioned Jake. Jake was her best guy friend from work. He bartended at the place where she waitressed part-time. He was always posting shirtless gym selfies online, the kind of guy who collected attention like it was currency. I'd met him a few times. He didn't act rude to my face, but something about how Sarah lit up when she talked about him made my stomach tighten. That night, I tried to keep it simple. "We've barely seen each other this week," I said. "Maybe we stay in, order pizza, watch that movie you've been talking about." Sarah rolled her eyes while applying another layer of lipstick. "Alex, not tonight. Jake's DJing at this club downtown. It's going to be epic. You should come. Loosen up for once." Clubs weren't my scene. The crowds, the noise, the whole thing made me feel drained even when I was rested. And I wasn't rested, I was exhausted. But more than that, I didn't like how close she was getting with Jake. I'd seen the texts pop up on her phone. Emojis. Inside jokes. A constant back and forth that never seemed to end. I hesitated, then said what I'd been holding in for weeks. "I'm just worried," I admitted. "You and Jake seem really close lately. Is there something I should know?" The air changed instantly. Sarah turned around, her expression a mix of annoyance and something smug. "Worried about what?" she said. "That I'm having fun without you." "Jake's just a friend. He gets me. He lives life. He doesn't sit around coding all day." I felt that hit my chest, but I kept my voice calm. "I'm not trying to control you," I said. "I just feel like we're drifting. You've been out every weekend, and when you're home, you're on your phone." It makes me feel like I'm not enough, she laughed, sharp and dismissive. Not enough, she repeated. Maybe you're right. Then she said the line that flipped a switch in me. If you don't like how I live my life, leave, she said. I'm not changing for anyone. I'm young. I want excitement, not this boring routine. Jake invites me out because he knows how to have fun. If you're jealous, that's on you. It felt like a slap, not because she went out, but because she made it clear I was the problem for wanting a real relationship. She grabbed her purse and headed for the door. Don't wait up, she tossed over her shoulder. I'll be back late. The door shut. I stood there in the quiet, staring at the wall, and I didn't beg, I didn't yell, I didn't chase her. Something inside me clicked off. For months, I'd been pouring everything into us. I skipped happy hours with coworkers to be home. I turned down a promotion that would have meant relocating because she didn't want to move. I canceled plans because she had work drama, only to find out later she went out with friends anyway. I remembered her posting photos online, smiling at clubs, captioned "living my best life," while I sat at home wondering if I even fit into her life anymore. Micro commentary. It's amazing how calm you can get when you finally accept the truth. Not the hope, not the excuses, the truth. Her words echoed again. If you don't like how I live my life, leave. Fine. I started packing, not in a rage, not slamming drawers, just methodically, quietly. I took my clothes from the closet, my books from the shelves, my tech gadgets, my personal documents, anything that was clearly mine. I left her things untouched. The paintings on the walls, the knickknacks, the shared furniture. I didn't want to fight over small stuff. I didn't want a dramatic showdown. By 100 a.m., my car was loaded. I wrote a note on a sticky pad and left it on the kitchen counter. You're right, I don't like it. So I left. Take care. No insults, no long paragraph, just a clean exit. I drove to a buddy's place a couple hours away. He'd told me before, if you ever need a couch, it's yours. I put my phone on silent and crashed. For the first time in a long time, the hurt was real, but the peace was real too. The next morning, my phone looked like it was on fire. Missed calls, texts, dozens from Sarah. I stared at it with my coffee in hand, feeling that familiar confusion try to creep back in. Had I overreacted? Was I throwing away 3 years over one night? Then I heard her voice in my head again. If you don't like how I live my life, leave. She didn't ask me to talk. She didn't ask me to work on it. She gave me an ultimatum and walked out to party with the guy who was already in the middle of our relationship. Around noon, I picked up when she called again. Alex, what the hell, she snapped. I came home at 300 a.m. and the place is half empty. Your stuff is gone and that note, are you serious? Yes, Sarah, I said, calm and steady. I am. There was a pause, like she expected me to panic or backpedal. This is ridiculous, she said. You packed up and left because I went out. You're acting like a child. Jake and I were just dancing, having fun. Nothing happened. You're overreacting to nothing. Nothing, I repeated quietly. You've been pulling away for months, late nights, constant texting with him. Making me feel like I'm holding you back. You told me if I didn't like it to leave, so I did. Her tone softened, but it wasn't remorse. It was strategy. Okay, fine, she said. Maybe I've been distant, but relationships have ups and downs. You can't just bail without talking. Jake's fun, yeah, but he's not you. You're the stable one, the one I come home to, don't you get that? Then she said the part that made my stomach drop because it wasn't a mistake, it was a worldview. I need both, she said. Excitement and security. Monogamy is outdated anyway. Everyone experiments. If you're insecure about it, that's your issue. Come back and we can work it out. I'll cut back on going out. Micro commentary. When someone says they need excitement and security, what they often mean is they want freedom for themselves and responsibility from you. I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was clear. She didn't want a partner, she wanted a base. No, Sarah, I said. We're done. I deserve better than being your backup plan. Backup, she snapped. That's not fair, you're twisting everything. I'm not twisting anything, I said. I'm listening to what you're saying. Goodbye, Sarah. She tried one last stab. If you loved me, you'd fight for us, she said, not run away like a coward. My throat tightened, but I didn't bite. Goodbye, I repeated. I hung up. I blocked her number, and that was it. No screaming match, no dramatic reunion, just a quiet ending. The days after were rough. I won't pretend they weren't. I lay on my buddy's couch staring at the ceiling, replaying every sacrifice, every moment I ignored because I wanted things to work. I thought about the money I'd helped her with, the plans I'd changed, the nights I'd waited up pretending I wasn't worried. It felt undeserved, like I'd been loyal and committed and still got tossed aside. But instead of calling her back, I did something new. I focused on me. I got a cheap motel room for a week, then found a sublet in a city a few hours away. I transferred within my company, not a promotion, just a fresh start. I started going to the gym. I reconnected with old friends. I started therapy because I needed to understand why I stayed so long in a situation that clearly wasn't balanced. My therapist said something that stuck. You were loyal, she told me. She wasn't, that's on her. It didn't erase the pain, but it gave it a place to land. Meanwhile, I heard things through mutual friends, even though I didn't ask. Sarah tried to spin the story. She told people I was controlling, that I abandoned her, that I couldn't handle her living her life. But the truth leaked out. She hooked up with Jake that night, not just dancing. Hooked up. And once she burned the bridge with me, she ran straight into his world like it was a prize. From what I heard, she moved in with him fast, quit her waitressing gig, convinced his connections would help her break into some art scene. She posted online about new beginnings and embracing freedom. Then reality showed up. Jake was unstable, partying hard, bouncing between gigs, charmy when he wanted something, cold when things got real. He used her for rides and money, then disappeared for days. One night, it got bad enough that she called the cops after a fight, but then downplayed it to friends like it was just a rough patch. Bills piled up. Friends started backing away. Family got tired of the chaos. Micro-commentary, chaos feels exciting when you're watching it from the outside. It feels different when you're living inside it. A month after I left, a mutual friend named Mike reached out. He was one of the few who didn't buy Sarah's story. You okay? He texted. Things are imploding over here. I kept it short. I'm good. What's up? He called and filled me in. Jake had kicked Sarah out during a fight, calling her too clingy. He moved on fast. She crashed with her sister and that blew up too. She started couch surfing. She was broke, jobless, and her reputation was wrecked because people realized she'd been bad-mouthing me for months to justify what she was doing. I didn't feel joy hearing it. I felt something colder, closure, because it confirmed what I already knew. Sarah wasn't confused. She wasn't unlucky. She made choices, and choices have receipts. By then, my life was starting to feel steady again, but the silence after the storm was still strange. I'd wake up in my small studio, bare walls, new routine, and feel the weight of it. Not regret, just the aftershock. Then Sarah tried to come back. At first it was subtle. A month after the breakup, late-night texts from new numbers. Hey Alex, can we talk? I miss our talks. I know I messed up. Jake was a mistake. Let's meet. I ignored them. Then came voicemails. Alex, please. Things with Jake aren't what I thought. He used me. He dumped me. I see now how good we had it. You were always there. Call me back. No sympathy showed up in me, just distance. Then she sent her enablers. Her best friend Lisa texted me. Sarah's hurting bad. Be a man and hear her out. She's family to us. I replied, not my problem. Then her mom called from an unknown number. I answered thinking it was work. Alex, this is Karen, she said. Sarah's mom. You need to talk to her. She's devastated. How could you just vanish like that? I kept my tone even. She told me to leave if I didn't like her life. I didn't, so I left. Karen huffed. That's childish. Relationships take work. Sarah's young. She made a mistake. Jake's a loser, but you're stable. Come back and fix this. Her sister is fed up with her. Sarah needs you. Sarah grabbed the phone like she'd been waiting. Alex, she said, voice cracking. Mom's right, I was stupid. I thought Jake was exciting, but he was a mistake. I'm broke. I'm in therapy. I realize now you were the real deal. Please, let's start over. I'll change. It sounded emotional, but it still had the same shape. It wasn't ownership, it was desperation. I stayed calm. You said monogamy was outdated, I reminded her. You said I was holding you back. Enjoy your freedom. Her voice snapped into anger. Freedom, she spat. Look where it got me, alone, while you're off playing victim. How dare you block me, ignore me, you're selfish. I didn't argue. Goodbye, I said. Click. Later, I heard she even showed up at Mike's place, pounding on his door, demanding he tell me to man up and take her back. That was the moment I knew she still didn't get it. She didn't miss me. She missed what I provided. Time passed. 6 months became a new normal. I got a raise at work. I upgraded to a nicer apartment. I started hiking with a group on weekends. I kept therapy going until the fog cleared. And I met someone new. Emily, a graphic designer. She didn't treat my steadiness like a flaw. She didn't mock me for being calm. She liked that I kept my word. It was quiet in the best way. Then I got invited to Mike's wedding, a small outdoor ceremony in a park a few hours from my old city. Mutual friends would be there, including people who knew Sarah. I went not to prove anything, just because I wanted to celebrate my friend. Emily came with me. During the reception, I was sitting at a table laughing with Emily when I saw movement near a side gate. Sarah walked in. Uninvited, she looked disheveled. Hair messy, dress rumpled, like she'd driven straight from a bad night. Her eyes scanned the crowd and locked onto me. Alex, she called, weaving through guests. Heads turned. Whispers started. She reached our table breathless. We need to talk now, she said. Emily looked at me, confused but calm. I stood up slowly. Sarah, I said steady, this isn't the place. Her eyes flicked to Emily. Who's she? Sarah asked, then waved it off like Emily didn't matter. Whatever. Alex, please, I'm sorry for everything. Jake ruined me. I'm in therapy, working on myself. I lost my friends, my job, but we were good. Remember, give me another chance. People were staring. Mike looked worried from across the room, but inside me there was nothing, no anger, no pity, just indifference. Sarah, I said, firm and clear, you've been irrelevant to me for months. I built this life without your drama. You told me to leave if I didn't like it. I did, and I'm doing better than I ever did with you. Emily is part of that. Sarah blinked like I'd spoken another language. You're just replacing me to spite me, she snapped. I deserve better than this rejection. I shook my head once. No, I said, you deserve what you chose. Then I ended it the same way I did the first time. Goodbye. Sarah stood there for a second, then stormed off, muttering curses under her breath as the room watched her unravel. Afterward, Mike came over and exhaled like he'd been holding his breath. She's hit bottom, he said quietly. Couch surfing, begging for gigs, seeing you happy, that broke her. I nodded once, not because I enjoyed it, but because it made sense. I left the wedding holding Emily's hand, and I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Light. Because Sarah wasn't my responsibility anymore. She was a ghost from a past life, and I didn't owe ghosts a home. Micro commentary, the hardest part of leaving is accepting that you won't be the one who saves them. The best part is realizing it was never your job. Here are the lessons I took from all of this. Lesson 1, when someone says, if you don't like it, leave, believe them. That's not a boundary, it's a warning. Lesson 2, you can't build a future with someone who only wants you as a backup plan. Lesson 3, excitement is not an excuse to disrespect your partner. Lesson 4, if a person wants freedom for themselves but stability from you, that is not love. That is use. Lesson 5, closure is not getting an apology. Closure is choosing peace and sticking to it. What would you have done the moment Sarah said, if you don't like how I live my life, leave? Would you have argued, or would you have quietly packed? And have you ever been in a relationship where you were treated like security while someone else got the excitement?